Hey guys, this tutorial will go over how to install BlenderNeuron to your device. So how BlenderNeuron works is that it consists of two parts. The first part is the Python package, which communicates with Neuron and runs in Python, and the second part is the Blender add-on, which is an add-on you can install in Blender. So when you have both installed on your device, that's how Blender and Neuron can communicate with each other. So this tutorial assumes that you already have a working Neuron and Python installation. So if you can run either of these commands, either neuron GUI-python in the terminal or from neuron import h in a Python console, then you should be good to go. If you haven't installed Neuron yet, make sure to go do that first. You can go to the Neuron website and they'll have the steps for that there. So now to install BlenderNeuron, go to the BlenderNeuron website to the download page. I already have it open, and it outlines the steps, but I will walk through them as well. So first, click here to download the BlenderNeuron zip file to your device, and I'll just put that in my downloads folder. The code for both the Python package and the Blender add-on is here. So to install the Python package, you can either run pip install BlenderNeuron from where you're going to be loading Neuron, or just extract the zip file. And it's just putting this folder in the same place as your Neuron package, or in the same place you're loading the model from, so that you know it's in the path. I'm going to be loading my model from the downloads folder, so I'll just keep it here. And now I'm going to start Neuron and load my model to start BlenderNeuron for Neuron. I'll cd to the downloads folder since that's where the BlenderNeuron package and my model are. Then I'll start Neuron. And I'll load my model from a Hawk file. It doesn't really matter if you load it from a Hawk file or you create a cell from a script, just make sure a cell is instantiated. So as long as when you go to graph and then shape plot, you can see something there, you should be fine. So if I see my model in the shape plot, I can start BlenderNeuron in Neuron. So to load BlenderNeuron into Neuron, type from BlenderNeuron import Neuron start. And it knows where BlenderNeuron is because my terminal is in the downloads folder and that's where BlenderNeuron is. Then if the command runs, you're done with the Neuron Python side of things. So now I'll start Blender itself and install the add-on there. Make sure to check what Blender versions work with the latest BlenderNeuron update. I have Blender 3.5 downloaded. So to add add-ons to Blender, go to Edit and then Preferences, and make sure you're in the Add-ons tab, and then select Install to install an add-on from a file. Now point it to the zip file that we downloaded earlier, and make sure it's the zipped file and not unzipped, and also make sure you didn't rename it because that can cause issues. Then you can check this off to enable the add-on, and I can also see the details by expanding it. And you can check that the add-on is working by finding the BlenderNeuron tab. You can find the BlenderNeuron tab by clicking on this icon on the top right to expand the sidebar, and it should be right there. Now under node status, it says connected and listening, which is a good sign. That means that it is communicating with the Neuron side of BlenderNeuron. And under cells in group, you should see whatever cells are in your model. You can also hit import cell groups to Blender to check that it is importing the cells correctly. And that's it for this tutorial. In future tutorials, I'll go over more complex things like editing and saving cells, creating synapses, creating animations of action potentials, etc. And you can look out for those on blenderneuron.org/tutorials. And thanks for watching.